Welcome back. You're tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And today we are talking with Grace Waweru. Grace is an experienced and licensed Washington State real estate broker and holds a BA in business administration and marketing. She brings a strategic yet personable approach to the home buying and home selling process and consistently exceeds investment goals for her clients in a wide array of real estate transactions. Grace's 17-year career in real estate has been enhanced by her working experience at large financial institutions where she provided credit risk management and acted as liaison between the financial institutions and HUD, primary mortgage insurance companies, and government investors like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Grace has found her niche in the adult family home business by assisting providers to buy adult family homes. In order to provide the best service to her clients, Grace obtained her certification as an adult family home provider. Grace epitomizes integrity, energy, hard work, and creative service in every detail of your real estate transaction. She's passionate about educating buyers and sellers on the real estate process and committed to educating, mentoring, and supporting other entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Welcome, Grace.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so glad to have you.
We are, because you have a really interesting and unique topic that we've never covered before. So,
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So you obviously started in some sort of related industries, but how did you end up getting into real estate?
Yes, I started off with working with Washington Mutual Bank, and I was a credit risk manager, whereby I dealt with a lot of loans. The bank originated all these loans and would package them and sell them off. And one of the things that we had to do was to make sure, of course, that they met the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines. If they did not, then the bank was under obligation to buy back those loans. So I had a team that looked at those repurchase, we call them repurchase letters, and we figured out, is it a legitimate request? If it's an underwriting issue, we underwrote those loans all over again to make sure that there was nothing missing, and then would appeal to the investors if we had a good case. And so some of them got bought back, some of them didn't. Now, as we all know, the bank, Washington Mutual Bank, went under.
Yeah.
And my department was actually phased off in 2006. And just I was out of a job, and I figured, I need to do something with my life. And at that point, that's when I met somebody who was working actually for John L. Scott. And they talked to me about real estate, and I thought, wow, yes, I can totally do this because I already know the back end of real estate.
Yeah.
I can do the sales.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
awesome. That's a great entry to that. I almost think you maybe would have gone into mortgage with your background.
I
but
know.
True, but my background actually is more of marketing. So I'm a people person. So this fits like perfectly for me. Yeah.
That's great. Do you really enjoy your real estate career then?
I love it. I love helping buyers. A lot of my clients are first-time home buyers, so I'm so passionate about getting them into a home. They have worked all their lives, and this is such a great and big investment for them, financial investment. And so just educating them and letting them see that their dream can be a reality, their dream of home ownership. Yes.
And what area do you mainly work in?
Well, my office is in Kirkland. I now work
okay.
with Keller Williams in Kirkland. I started off with Keller Williams in Bellevue, and I'm all over the place just because I have a big presence in the South End, in Kent, Renton area, and also in the North End, like Linwood, Bothell. So I'm kind of just in those areas, but King County, so mainly King County.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we know, as we touched on in your bio, that you kind of specialize in adult family homes. So what constitutes that? What is that?
Well, an adult family home is a residential home that is actually licensed to take care of 6 people, up to 6 people. Now, it's one of the businesses that's only allowed in residential areas. As you know, that if you have a business, it has to be either commercially zoned. Well, adult family homes are allowed to, it's a business that's allowed in residential areas. So they are very specific homes, and the Department of Health and Social Services have very strict guidelines as to what constitute an adult family home.
Okay.
So my buyers, when they come to me and they tell me, well, eventually I want to open up an adult family home, then I know exactly the type of home they're looking for, because it can either have to be wheelchair accessible, and there's other requirements of such types of homes. But just to answer your question, it is a home that caters for about 6 residents in a caregiving setting.
Right. So, I mean, I would imagine a lot of the homes, when they buy them, they have to do work to them to get them.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
yes.
a lot of them don't already have wheelchair accessibility. And
Yes,
right.
And one of the things that I help my buyers, and that's why I took the class, the providers class, was to understand the requirements of these homes. So especially like something like a hallway, if there's a weight-bearing wall and that hallway cannot be extended, that's not the right home for them, because they cannot license it, right? So I have to be very careful in the type of home. I don't want them to invest on a $400,000, $500,000 home and find out that they cannot actually get it converted to work for that type of a business. So yes, there's a lot of just guidelines. The windows have to be a certain length from the floor up, and so all those constitute to some of the licensing requirements. And that's why I found this to be a niche, because most of the real estate brokers are not aware of these requirements, and they end up selling those types of homes, and their clients find themselves in a situation whereby they can't
open the home,
They
right?
cannot open a home, and now you have the house.
Because I imagine, because you have to be totally up on all the ADA requirements, right? From access to, like, you were talking
Like
about the hall.
width.
You have to be
Hallways.
able to have wheelchair, width wide enough to get in and out of rooms, and restrooms that you could have handicap accessible.
Bathrooms,
Yeah.
that are easily wheelchair accessible. It's a lot of requirements, and even the outside of the home, some of them have to create ramps. Yeah. So because egress is a main thing about adult family homes. You have to be able to get the residents out in case of an emergency. So that's why they have all these requirements.
That's awesome.
I would think that there's not a lot of homes that would qualify for this type of a purchase, right? Or is there quite a few? Because does it have to be a one-story
Rambler.
house?
It doesn't have to be a one-story house.
Okay.
Well, it's a one-story house is preferable.
Ideal.
Yeah, it's ideal. And I've sold a storied house as long as they have enough rooms on the main floor.
Okay.
Right. So, and those the dimensions of the house also have to be, like if you're licensing for one client, Washington State requires it to be like 80 square feet, and from wall to wall. And if you have to put 2 residents in a room, it has to be 120 square feet.
Okay.
So if you have a house that has enough room downstairs, then you can live upstairs, because the provider has to live in the house too.
Right.
So yes.
How did you get into this?
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Well,
You had a client that wanted to buy one?
My sister, actually, Dorothy Schlemy, happened to be the president at the time of the Adult Family Home Council. And then she started teaching the providers class. There's a certification that you have to take in order to be allowed to open such a home. So, well, I talked to her one time, and I told her, could I come and talk to your students? And she was open to it. And then I instantly realized that this is a niche, because each class has about 30 to 50 students. And all these students, 90% of them don't even have homes. So they end up being, number one, first-time home buyers. and then of course a very specific type of a home.
Right.
So so that's how I found out about them and got into the business. To date, there's 2,800 adult family homes in Washington State.
Wow.
And this morning I talked to the Adult Family Home Council and found out that they open 300 homes a year. There's a definite need for these types of homes. Yeah.
Yeah, like we were talking before the air. I mean, the baby boomers are the largest demographic, and as they age, there's just going to be a huge need for housing, for assisted living for them, I'm sure.
Right.
Absolutely. And now more and more families prefer going to adult family homes as opposed to nursing homes, because in a nursing home, you have one caregiver taking care of 20 to 25 residents. In adult family home, there's more specialized care, 24-hour care of about a maximum of 6 residents in a home. So, and there's, a lot of families just want that type of intimate care.
Yeah.
Well, so you said a lot of the people in that class are first-time homebuyers, and so
Yes.
they're first-time homebuyers buying an adult family home.
Yes.
Wow. So
But the cool thing,
fun.
and you can speak to this too, right? When they are first buying their home, it's just a residential single-family home purchase. They're not buying a business or anything else, right? So
Absolutely.
It's just
And that's
Okay.
good to substantiate
Yeah.
that, because obviously your loan officers and there's a different type of lending for obviously if you're buying it as a business. A lot of lenders actually don't lend for adult family homes, and that's because of the variable income, because today you could have 6 residents, tomorrow you could have 2.
right.
And that is a huge discrepancy of income. So you have to have a small business loan if you're buying it as a business. Yes.
But so these first-time home buyers, they're going through the certification, and then they are looking to buy a home that eventually they can turn into an adult family home.
Absolutely. And the whole process could take to almost a year. So yes, it is a single family home that, they go through the steps and get the house ready and then apply for the license and before it can even get licensed.
Right.
wow. Because though they have to come out of their certification with a job then to purchase the home. So
Yeah,
they must be caregiving like
They-
in another facility or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of them are nurses. They are
Okay.
licensed nurses and also caregivers.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it is
I know.
cool.
It's a really interesting, it's an awesome niche. I imagine because, we've talked about this a lot on our show, but it is a ongoing problem. The inventory out there
Yes.
is a problem. And then when you're looking at a really specialized thing, how do you address the lack of inventory and servicing your clients that need that kind of niche house?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times now I'm calling actually expired listings. So I find out that if it's an expired listing, the seller at one point wanted to sell their home. And now I'm just going to those big ramblers and one that has enough square footage on the main level. And I just call them up and I say, hey, I have a buyer for you, because I have like right now I have about 10 to 15 buyers that I don't have homes for.
Wow.
And so I end
That's a
up
good pipeline.
Yeah.
It is. And so I end up calling, just literally taking up the phone and just calling. And then also calling existing providers who are kind of getting burnt out of the job and they are looking to transition. And I tell them, hey, I already have a buyer who's already a licensed provider, because all these people are already now licensed and all
Right.
they need is a home. So that's how I address the shortage. It's obviously an uphill,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure, you probably can also get, a good deal for your clients when you're calling on expired listings too.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because they've already been through it and their house didn't sell or
And
they
they-
took it off the market for some reason,
Yes.
right?
And the first question I ask them is, for the right price, would you consider selling your home? Because at one point you were considering selling your home.
Right.
And a lot of times the answer is yes.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
So, well, what about, these are first time home buyers and I can imagine that they probably have an idea of their house they want. How do you overcome like their pickiness or the things that they think they need because they're limited on what they can get to,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So are they tend to be pretty flexible or?
Well, a lot of providers now are pretty much flexible because they understand, first of all, their aim is to start a business later on. So when they have their location nailed down, then they're okay, they're a little bit flexible. Now, the way I deal with pickness in general with all of my buyers
Right.
is just, first of all, sitting down with them. It's just literally coaching them. A lot of people come with all this huge expectation, and I just start telling them, hey, let's start, first of all, let's get you pre-approved and find out how much of a house you can afford, because you could want $1 million home, the features of $1 million home, and you get pre-approved for $300,000.
That's everybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
They all want those features.
And then we just narrow down on the needs and the wants. So the needs are the non-negotiables. Either they want to stick to a certain school district if they have, kids in school. And then we have the wants. If they don't have to have that fourth bedroom, they can do with a 3-bedroom home with a bonus room. So that's how I address that. Is kind of just coach them, stick to their needs, and then if we do get their wish list, then we can accommodate that. But once you coach them, a lot of them are flexible in doing that.
So how much of your business is geared toward the adult family home versus just regular
homes?
other buyers?
I would say 80% of my business is adult family homes.
Is it?
Wow.
It is.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
It
Well,
became my niche, and it comes easy now for me. I do a lot of those presentations at the various institutions that are providing that class. Highline Community College is one of them. I've given a presentation there multiple times. Green River is another place that they provide the class, and I've done some presentations there. So I kind of just hit it hard, networked with those providers, and obviously networked with Adult Family Home Council, who now refer all the questions about real estate to me. They say,
that's
call
great.
Grace.
you're very
the
smart,
expert.
Grace. You are, because like we just went to a class this last beginning of the week at the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, and they had a speaker, and he was actually talking very specific to that, where with being a lender or an agent, I mean, you can't be all things to all people. So if you're going to specialize in something, learn it well, do it well, and kind of focus your energy. And you've done that and built a great business and offering a great service that other agents probably would have no idea how to service that clientele.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
That was awesome.
That was really great.
Thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we will be chatting with Mary Ellen Stone from the King County Sexual Assault and Resource Center. To find out more about topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.